given, for there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb, and there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men, and there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. Now, let me just say this. I shouldn't even have to say this, but Jesus is talking about, in this passage, figuratively speaking, he's not telling anyone to mutilate their body in this passage. I mean, I shouldn't even have to say that, but, you know, I don't even want to take the time to turn to all the scriptures that would contradict, you know, mutilating your body. And there was a guy, one of these church fathers, you know, and people will often say, you know, what did the early church fathers teach? You know, and what they are is, I call them Paleo-Catholics. I mean, they're like, I mean, you agree with it? Paleo-Roman Catholics. You know, these church fathers. And by the way, guys like Origen, who was one of these Paleo-Catholic church fathers, guys like Origen are very much responsible for these modern perversions of the Bible. You know, Origen's book, the Hexapla, and a lot of other books and manuscripts that were produced by Origen are behind a lot of the scholarship behind these new versions that twist and change Scripture. And Origen was a man who castrated himself. This church, I mean, leave that church father on the shelf. No thanks. Not interested in what you have to say, buddy. Okay? And look it up. It's a historical fact that Origen, a lot of the scholarship behind these modern versions comes from some of his works, and including his Hexapla and so forth. And he was a guy who, you know, cut off his own stones, as the Bible calls them. And so, you know, I don't want to hear anything he has to say. But he misinterpreted this verse. And, you know, if there's one verse in the Bible you don't want to misinterpret, this is the one. Misinterpret something else. You know, don't misinterpret this verse. But in this verse, what Jesus is saying here is he's saying, look, some people have chosen to remain celibate for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He's not saying that they actually mutilated their body. Okay, he's saying they remain celibate for the kingdom of heaven's sake. Because what's the context? He's talking about people who've been divorced and they realize, hey, I have to remain unmarried. Or some guys that are just single guys, like Apostle Paul, for example. He just chose to remain unmarried. But he said that's not for most men. Most men, he said, should get married to avoid fornication. But he said some people have a gift of God where they can remain single and they can live their life. And there are people out there who can remain single and live for God and so forth. And he said, you know, you can do more for God. You don't even have to worry about domestic matters. I mean, you're just, you know, you got to cook your own food, but whatever. But anyway, you know, you can just serve God with it. And that's what the Apostle Paul did.